What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. So good to have you here. So last night, I got the opportunity to watch The Crow, the new one that just came out, starring Bill Skarsgård, FK Twigs, and Danny Hudson, directed by Rupert Sanders. And before I dive into how I felt about the movie, first and foremost, again, this is going to be non-spoiler. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and you plan on seeing it, it's safe to watch this. I won't spoil it. And if I do, I'll give a warning. But with that being said, so yeah, this is a 2024 The Crow. Now, it's important to know that there's 4 Crow films before this one, and there's a reason why I'm gonna say that, why I'm saying that. But there's The Crow City of Angels, The Crow Salvation, The Crow Wicked Prayer, and The Crow TV series. So, why am I saying all that? Because there have been many attempts to catch the magic that was The Crow with Brandon Lee. This is based on a character from a graphic novel by James O'Barr called The Crow, obviously. And even though Brandon Lee's The Crow has some liberties in regards to his origins, it's pretty close to the material I felt. But then there was different iterations within the 4 movies, but and the TV show, but nothing ever captured the magic that was The Crow with Brandon Lee. So here we are, 2024, revisiting this property with Eric and Shelley, which, by the way, in the movie, and this is not a spoiler, you never hear their last names, which obviously is intentional because they're trying to uh, back away from or separate themselves from the Brandon Lee film. So they're Eric and Shelley are brutally murdered, given a chance to save the love of his life. Eric must sacrifice himself and transverse the worlds of the living and the dead, seeking revenge. So I'll start with what I liked, and then I'll go into what I didn't like, and then I'll give my overall review, my ranking. So what did I like? I love how it was shot. The cinematography is really great. I like that they didn't go try to uh uh like do like a gritty look similar to the Brandon Lee film. No, there are some really great shots in this movie. Uh, there were some really, really, really great shots. So I really dug how it looked, and that it was its own and not trying to emulate the Brandon Lee film. Bill Skarsgård is the shit, yo. Like, he's really good. He's a good actor, and he's good in this movie. And I'll tell you why. Because unlike previous iterations of The Crow, in this one, and this is not a spoiler, he doesn't figure out how to use his powers right away. And he's just a guy with real dark issues. So when he starts being crowish, if you will, he don't come out just kicking ass and taking names. Matter of fact, he spends a good part of the movie not winning. um, and that's not a spoiler. And if it is, I apologize. But I like that they spent time making sure that you know that this is a regular guy and he didn't just come out and he's a superhero and he's killing everybody and he's a badass. No, he was not a badass. He had to learn how to um figure things out. And Bill Skarsgård plays that very well. Even though he's freaking chiseled like a Greek god, he plays the fact that this is a regular guy in a supernatural situation. He plays it fantastically. Um, I This is going to be a positive and a negative. I like that we get to spend more time with Eric and Shelley. They clearly they made it was intentional um that we had to get to know who Eric and Shelley was. But I'm gonna tell you why it was a negative when I get to what I didn't like. But I do like that they made the decision to say, "Hey, we want you to get to know these 2 people before all hell breaks loose. I like the violence. That R rating is earned. When it goes down, it goes down. There were many scenes when I was like, "Oh shit!" I enjoyed that. The fight scenes are dope. Um, when they come, it's cool. And again, it's cool because it's like a regular dude in these situations, and that's how he fights. And I like that because he's not a superhero. He's seeking revenge as the Crow, but he's not a superhero. And I like that. So the violence is real. It's brutal. I like that in this version they spend more. They focus more on the spirit world and introducing some things that have been introduced in the other uh Crow films, but not in the Brandon Lee version. And I like that they kept that going. I do like that there was a little more of the spirit world and the that whole piece of the film, but that's also a negative, and I'll tell you why in a second. But so those are the things I like. The acting was good. Shelley and Eric's relationship was cool. Danny Hudson played a really cool bad guy. The supporting cast was cool. But that leads me to what I didn't like about this movie. This movie seems like it was cut up. Like somebody got a hold of this and was like, "Whoa, we have got to shorten the time up or something." Because the entire movie they introduce things, but you don't get any payoff. And so there were many times in the film I was like, oh, I wonder where that's going. Or oh snap, I wonder what they're gonna do with that. And so the entire film I'm waiting for the payoff for certain stuff, and it never happens. There's some people that get introduced that you never see again or care about. Um the Danny Hudson's character, even though he played it very well, there's no real why behind he is who he is. They try to explain it, but it's like sprinkled, and you keep thinking, oh, okay, they're gonna come back to this. There's a reason why he is what he is. There's a reason why he did what he did, and they're gonna come back to this. I just know it. And then the movie goes and it goes, and they never come back to it. So it really felt really cut. I told my friends when I got out of the theater that there's probably a fantastic version of this movie on some studios cutting floor, because when you watch it, the the pacing is so bad because it just looks like entire pieces of the story got cut, which leads to my next piece is the pacing is horrible. But the pacing is really bad. And to Eric and Shelley's relationship, although I like that they spend more time um for us to get to know them, there's not a lot of substance to their relationship. Clearly they're in love, but it's like, we don't really see them do anything spectacular. We just see them spend a lot of time together. So you get the feeling that they're in love, but I mean, if this is a spoiler, I apologize, but essentially they're two people that like to party and have sex. You know what I mean? But there's cute scenes and monologues and conversations between the two of them, but there's not a lot of substance there. So I like that they made they made it a focus for us to get to know Eric and Shelley. But what I didn't like is what they choose to spend time on when getting to know Eric and Shelley, because there's not a whole lot of substance there. Like, you believe that he loves her, but as a audience member, I didn't give a fuck about their relationship, to be honest. In Brandon Lee's version, I was more bought in to their relationship, and you barely got to see them together because he died and a lot of stuff got unfinished. So even though it was a plus that the decision that was made for them to spend more time together, after you finish watching the movie, you're like, oh, That's it. That's all he did. Oh, boo. But in that, there are some good scenes of the two of them together. That's why it's a plus and a negative, because in the midst of all the time we get together, there's some crap that's just like, all right, whatever. But there's some little bits and pieces there that I enjoyed. But it's a that's why it's a negative and a positive. Um so the trailer showed more stuff that didn't even make the movie. So some of the stuff that was in the trailers was the reason why I was giving this film a shot. Like, okay, because they were introducing elements that excited me, but those elements don't even make the film. They talk about it in other ways, but what was shown in the trailer was better than what they decided to go with. Be- because what they decided to go with is literally the absence of what was in the trailer. So it's kind of like it doesn't have the same payoff had they included the things that was in the trailer. When you see the things that you see, it would have had a bigger impact. And that's why I'm saying I feel like this film is just cut up. I don't know who edited this movie. I don't know what the demand was from the studio, but it just feels like a big chunks of the movie is missing. So, with that being said, what is my rating? 0, 1 to 5, 1, nope, trash, zone out, skip this one. 5 being it's fantastic, it's a must see film. I'm gonna give it a 3. I enjoyed myself, but I wouldn't recommend going to see it in theaters. Like you can see it at home when it comes out on streaming, which I'm sure will be in a couple of weeks. Because based on how it's pacing, this movie isn't going to do well in theaters, so it'll be streaming soon. I hate to say that because I really want this film to be good because I love The Crow. I love The Crow. I love the character, and I want this film to be good. I want this film to be good because I want to see more Crow stuff in theaters. But this wasn't. It was only okay. I give it a 3, be, meaning I wasn't like ready to walk out of the theater like, oh my god, this is horrible. But I was just like, that's okay. With that said, this is the second best Crow film. It was. It's better than the other sequels. This is the best Crow film since the first Crow with Brandon Lee. Some of the fight scenes and Bill Skarsgård and some other things make it and somewhat enjoyable, but it's not a good movie. And I hate that because I feel like there was something there. Like it had so much potential. There's so many times in the film I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so dope. And then it ends. I'm like, what happened? Why didn't they continue this? Why didn't we get more of this? And why did they introduce this? Like the opening credit, the opening scene. I'm just gonna say the opening scene. I was like, oh, where are we going with this? And then nothing. We never revisit what they were trying, the foundation they were trying to lay down there in that opening scene. So stuff like that is like, why'd you show me that and then never give me any payoff? Um, it's just poorly executed, and I really feel bad because there's some stuff in there that I liked. But anyways, what do you think? Did you see the film? If you did, I'd love to talk about it in the comments. If you haven't seen it, let me know if you plan on checking it out. Personally, I wouldn't. I'd wait a couple of weeks. I'm sure it'll be streaming by mid-September. Like I doubt this movie picks up. But who knows? I could be wrong. There might be a lot of people that enjoy it. I did not. It was a 3 for me. But love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Do me a favor. If you like the content, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe. And hit that little alarm button as well so you can get alerted whenever I post new content. And also, do me a favor, share with other people who you think would like this content as well. We have a big goal of 1,000 subscribers we're trying to get to, and we need your help. Appreciate it. Till the next one. Peace.